Hello and welcome back once again. I hope that if you've seen the last two videos I posted, you will already have had some understanding of what it is that I'm doing here. And if you are here for the third time, congratulations and welcome. You're a rarity, and I want to honor that you are here following this. I hope to give you some good gems. Today is a very exciting. I brought something forward that I was going to leave for much later because I think it's really relevant and it's exciting to understand this. In tying into the first foundation talk I gave on will and love, how that forms the basis of all polarity in the universe, which is everything that surrounds us and is also inside us. The second talk was on good and evil and how good and evil relate to these two principles in their right relation with one another. Today, I want to focus on the kingdoms of creation because I spoke to them in that second video. And if you haven't watched them, please go back and watch them because what I'm saying now is going to make a lot more sense and context. This applies to all my videos, by the way. I urge you to watch them in sequence, more or less. Although each subject is a standalone, there is a method to the sequence in which these things are produced, as when they are explored successively, the mind has an ability to build them into a construct that is more useful and less challenging when you have so much things that you don't know how they belong together. The sequence of things is how many things tie in together. So I've created them this way. So I hope you enjoy that. So coming back to the kingdoms. As we know, all manifest creation pours outward from will under the guidance of love and manifests through the third Trinity principle, which is the Holy Child, when the two are, the combination of the two together, forming creation. There is an amazing symbol that the ancients, and I'm saying the ancients, we're talking pre-biblical times here. We won't go back into prehistoric eras. Suffice to say that there is a lot of evidence that, in fact, I'm going to be straight about it. I'm pretty certain that we have had a bygone age of very high civilization, of which very few remnants remain. Still enough to make a lot of question marks. A few intrepid explorers have gone on to expand upon this and theorize a whole bunch of cool things. Suffice to say that much knowledge from another era has made it through into this one. And one of the things that made it through is a symbol relating to this duality and ultimately Trinity symbol. And it's a beautiful thing. It's an egg, okay? And the top of the egg are three dots, one above the other, dot, dot, dot. From the top dot, the egg begins to unroll all the way down to the base. And before we go back to its culmination of where it began, we're going to understand what is this principle? What is this dot that suddenly starts to move and descend to some point? And what is this point? This symbol, this egg symbol, is creation itself. It is so beautifully done. This immense complexity of existence can be summarized in one beautiful, simple diagram. This journey from the top point at the top of the egg down is essentially from the source of existence manifesting itself in successive densities of dimensions. And let us call the delineation of these dimensions, let us give them the number 7, just for academics' sake. Let's say that there are 7 delineations, 7 different dimensions, 7 degrees of density, should we call it, okay? So the Father, the will, which is the source of all creation, the Father emerges from creation and begins to expand and create. As the Father does so with love, with the feminine, who is all form, the Father imprints himself into her. She, the willing, receptive medium, able to become anything. He is everything. She can become anything. That's another beautiful context of how you can understand the mystery of this universe. He is everything. She can become anything. They both are everything, but just different roles they play. as he manifests inside her, this first dimension, the first density is created, something which is not just pure energetics, but has something tangible connected to it. This dimension, this gathering, this accumulation of substance, manifesting of substance, has density and form of some kind. Although at this stage, compared to where we are at the bottom, at this stage in 3D is the bottom, we still have no, this is the most tenuous of substances. The most, almost like, or not even smoke-like. Okay, and yet this journey continues through these successive dimensions all the way down and to the bottom of the egg, which we call the densest point. This is the densest point of existence, where all of creation has manifested, has gathered around itself successive octaves of clothing. You might say clothed itself in dimension, and that dimension has then embodied itself and clothed itself in an even denser dimension. And that denser dimension has enclosed itself and embodied itself inside, each dimension wearing the other like clothing. Okay, an adornment. And this is how God makes itself manifest into matter, through these successive adornments and gatherings, accumulations of ever more denser substance. It's trying to spiritualize matter. This is another great definition. As I said in the last video, the purpose of consciousness is the ability to identify, to become identical with anything. The goal of creation, that was the definition of consciousness. Here's another banger for you. The goal of creation itself is also made in incredibly simple terms. This infinite complexity becomes this. The goal of creation, the purpose of creation, all creation, is to spiritualize matter. This is the egg. That's what this describes. Everything going on has simply one purpose in mind. Spirit is trying to get into matter. And there's a lot of analogies there. Masculine, feminine knows a lot about that, especially the masculine. It wants to get into all kinds of matter, right? So this drive is inherent in creation. Now, this journey of unfolding arrives at the densest point of matter, which we call the third dimension, this one that is most familiar to us. Everything we see around us is 3D, and it's defined by the atomics that we have here. So the atomic table, the periodic table, from hydrogen all the way through to whatever the densest substance is at 120 electrons, 120 protons. We have this immense variety of atomics, of atoms. And these atoms all have something in common. That is, they are third density, whether they are gas, liquid, or substance. And this, whether they are gas, liquid, or substance, they all have something in common, which is the orbital speed of the atoms, so of the electrons around the atom. So approximately, without being too, getting too physics on your ass, 9/10 the speed of light is the speed at which the electrons circumnavigate the proton. And that field, infinite, 9/10 the speed of light, that's 300 and something thousand kilometers a second. 9/10 of that, unimaginably fast. That rate sets up the field of the atom, which is essentially a field that is dense to other atoms. Okay, so this determines all 3D, whether it's a gas or whether it's gold. All of this has that in common. This is third density. So when the divine has arrived after an enormously long journey of clothing itself in denser and denser constructs, and we will get into those various levels of constructs later on in these talks, but first we're going to foundation where it has arrived and what is the purpose of that arrival. So it arrives ultimately at the densest point, 3D. This is the place where existence is at its densest, where the mother, love, the feminine, is basically in her, she is the most widespread and the least touched by spirit. So she is ultimately present, and yet spirit is very much present with her, and yet only just begun to descend into her greatest depth. 3D, you might say, is the feminine's greatest depth, her greatest density. And the masculine's goal is to penetrate that density and enliven it with his light, bring it to life, which she is the source of, okay? She is the source of, able to take that spark of his and manifest the multitude of the beauty of creation as a result of that. So, coming into the third density. From here on, another journey begins. We've come down to the densest place we can in existence, as life itself, as God. We're taking God's journey, okay? And down here at the bottom of that egg, this journey continues and begins to circle back up again. But just as in this downward spiral, the divine has clothed itself in denser and denser densities to be able to reach the densest one. For you cannot have air, cannot penetrate stone. No? So the lighter frequencies of the universe have no ability to interfere with or interact with the denser ones. They just go right through. An X-ray goes right through me. My density cannot stop it. It's too high vibration. So imagine the source of life as a gamma ray. Okay, it penetrates through, through multiple densities on this planet. It can go through solid Earth for an enormous amount of time before it is absorbed. So this high vibration needs to be able to step itself down in ways that it can actually interact with the densest aspect of the feminine. Okay, and here we are in third density, reaching this point well before humanity's been created. At this point, spirit's descent into matter creates the first form that is informed by, in third density, informed by the combination of spirit entering matter and holding steady, and matter being able to hold spirit without being destroyed. The mineral kingdom is born, which is the ordering, the creation of various atoms. So this plane of atomics is the first manifestation principle of the divine here on Earth, in third density, its densest place, and it's the beginning of the foundation of where spirit is actually imprinting into matter various patterns that matter is then becoming. So the whole periodical table is the first consequence of this. And the combinations of the periodical table, which are atoms, is of course mineral chemistry, the mineral kingdom. Okay, everything we have upon which this earth and ourselves are built is minerals. First kingdom. Second kingdom. What happens here is we are beginning a journey of ascent, from descent to ascent. In the ascent phase, life, sentience, the divine father, is wanting to reach the density of the mother, her deepest place, and from there rise up and expand more and more of his light inside her, while she is learning to become more and more accommodating of that light. And as she becomes more accommodating, more yielding, and he more penetrative, and them successful together to interface together and create life successfully, the new child. The new child are the kingdoms that rise up from the mineral kingdom back to source. And there are 7 in total. The first of which is the mineral kingdom. The second, life itself, the life wave, has entered matter as the mineral kingdom, and yet only the mineral kingdom can only really process 1/7 of the vibrations in all existence. That's all it can respond to. Basically, it comes down to physical force and physical basic chemistry, bonds between atoms. It's just this basic brute state of minerals interfacing with each other through chemistry. Plus and minus again, masculine and feminine in all things. In the second kingdom, we see that light has been able to penetrate matter to such a degree that matter's shape and makeup has changed. This change allows matter itself to become more responsive to the light that fills it. Make sense? So this more light is manifest as a greater ability to respond. And so we have the second kingdom, the vegetable kingdom, the plant kingdom, that which is built from the mineral kingdom, but ordered in a new way that minerals are not ordered, in such a way that it can handle another octave, another 1/7 of existence, of creation's frequency, it can accommodate in itself and express. So 2/7 of creation are held inside the powers of manifestation of 2/7 of creation are held inside the plant kingdom. The beautiful plant kingdom, responsive to light, the first time that matter is able to respond directly to light, that the feminine is able to respond directly to spirit, the feminine to masculine, love to will, her response tangible by his presence in her, miracle, mysterious, worth contemplating. I'm going to journey up from that second kingdom into the animal kingdom, the third kingdom, where life again is seeking more responsiveness from matter. How can I infuse matter to make her more responsive to me? What faculties can I create in her matter to form and assemble and mold so that she becomes my conduit and she can hold more of me? And therefore she can contain more, which she desires more than all. She wants to contain everything. It is her desire. As his desire is to manifest in everything, which is her desire is to become everything in him. Perfect poetry. So the animal kingdom slowly, successively forms and evolves from this jump. A jump from the mineral to the plant kingdom, from the second kingdom, the vegetable, into the animal kingdom. Suddenly, we have the mineral kingdom present in the animal kingdom, the vegetable kingdom present as the autonomous nervous system and circulation systems in animals, basic, like plants. The circulatory system is like a plant, like osmosis. We have pumps, but we have something else. We have an ordering of matter, which we then call now biology. Plants have their own biology, but we have living cell tissue that is not plant-like. Let's call it the animal kingdom. It is assembled, that light has assembled itself in matter into such a sophisticated form that it's able to respond to 3/7 of the universe's vibrations. And in fact, 3/7 of the universe's vibrations are found manifest in the animal kingdom. It has sentience, the beginning of instincts. Basic emotions become present, whereas plants do not feel emotions. They respond to energy, but they do not have any capacity to feel emotions. That requires an endocrine system, which is the gift of the third kingdom. That's why animals have an endocrine system. Plants have responsiveness to all forces, including endocrine systems. They can respond to energy, but they do not feel it or produce it. They just respond visibly to it. So the third kingdom, and I'm only going to end here at the fourth kingdom because that's where we are, and a further exploration will require another talk because we want to keep it short and concise and leave you with enough to digest and still wanting some more. I don't want to tire you out. So the third kingdom manifest. The fledgling of mind, the beginning of mind, the beginning of a nervous system, a baseline nervous system to enhance responses, being able to move through the world and act in the world. Baseline instincts, which we call the baseline of emotions, are present. Basic care, animals have a basic care for one another. And the mineral kingdom forming the basis for their bodies themselves. So basic instincts, mating instincts, hunger, the drives begin to manifest, the drive of life to produce itself, to promote itself, to reproduce itself, to nurture itself, to live, basically, to thrive. So that's spirit in matter, 3/7. Now, the next great jump, an enormous jump, in sophistication, in ability to respond to the frequencies of the universe, we have the fourth kingdom, us, the human kingdom. Hello and welcome to the fourth kingdom. We are on a journey upwards, back home. That's the seventh kingdom, by the way. And we are only 4/7 of the way there. But for now, let's explore what it means to have become this fourth kingdom. It is an enormity immeasurable. Life has turned into mineral and turned into plant. Its ability to respond to light has created the incredible diversity of the plant kingdom around us. The journey to the animal kingdom has created mobility, instinct, response, sensory apparatus of a much more sophisticated nature, a fledgling endocrine system holding basic emotions, which are essentially fourth dimensional origin energies, which we'll have to explore in a more dedicated multiple dimension explanation of what the third, fourth, and fifth dimensions actually are. Animal kingdom holds the beginning of the endocrine system, basic fledgling, and the very baseline new formation of a nervous system, which in the fourth kingdom, us, finds itself in a great manifestation. So the fourth kingdom has actually evolved that nervous system to an exceptionally high level, and with it the endocrine system has been formed, so that in the fourth kingdom, the endocrine system, which is the 7 glandular centers in your body responsible for producing emotional blood chemistry, they are actually antennas that are actually able to produce in the bloodstream, in physical chemistry, components that make emotions physically tangible. You can feel the emotion in your body. That's what the endocrine system does. And in the human kingdom, for the first time, we go from the animals which have a basic fledgling. They definitely have a range of emotions from that. They don't have hate because that requires a mind to do that, an aberrant mind. But the animals basically have devotion and love and care, as we know, beautiful creatures. But in the human kingdom, this takes on another dimension altogether. We have a vastly evolved endocrine system giving us access to the whole range of the human spectrum of human emotions, from love, the highest love, to the lowest abysmal emotion you can imagine, shame or guilt. Probably shame, I think, vibrates at about 25 on the Hawkins scale. So this incredible spectrum, we now, as living beings, spirit now has access to, in manifest form, a whole range of the entire spectrum of emotion available in the universe to be able to be felt inside this body. What a miracle that is. And we also have a mind, a nervous system evolved enough to be able to guide that. Okay, and there we sit in this beautiful, uneasy place of the fourth kingdom, where I will leave you for today so that we may explore its continuation another time. And so I'd like to ask you then what you think knowing this matters to you, and how does understanding this help you at all? It may seem rather theoretical, okay, at this stage, but I can guarantee you that if you keep following this, gradually over time, I will build up inside your mind such an incredible tapestry that your mind will graduate towards awe and wonder, which is the goal of this entire series, this Inspiration Age series. These are foundation stones. So I encourage you to stay with this. I encourage you to have a think about what you've heard today, and write me some comments. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what's going on. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please, for this helps me do the work that I am here to do and reach others who may benefit from it as well as you. Thank you so much. See you in the next video soon.